morning students, here solution with a new video of class 8 and very important chapter 4 we have completed in our SST history course up to chapter 3, and today we are going to start chapter 4. And students, what is the name of this chapter? Colonialism and tribal societies. Students, first we are going to discuss of this chapter's name. Colonialism, that means, as you know, the British rule, British era, British system. And what is tribal societies? So before you know tribal societies, you have to know what tribe. What is a tribe? A tribe is a group of people who are connected by a number of common factors such as language, culture, name, and customs and traditions. So students, what is tribe? Tribe is a group of people. So all they have some common factors, some common things between along with them. And what are those common factors? Are language, dresses, traditions, cultures, ideologies, okay, food, cultivation, okay, name, customs, traditions. Different common factors are there, and some common factors of those tribal people are same, and that is why they are having some different qualities other than some different regime, and some different regimes person has been known as tribe. So they usually live in isolation from the mainstream society. So there is both, there is other difference. Tribe can be known as not only some common factors of language, culture, traditions and art. Tribes also known as because they have been isolated themselves from mainstream of society. If you see, this is our chapter 4, page number 38 of our book history. If you see page number 39, there is word body mainstream society, and there is written the sections of society whose values, attitudes and practices are accepted by all. So what is mainstream society? Mainstream society, that means society who lives in main areas of country, and their attitudes, their cultures and their systems have been followed by different peoples. They are in everything in mainstream. They are, they are connected with people of all over the world or country. But tribe or tribal people are not connected with different people. They are lives in forest and isolated area, and there they live themselves and never been connected people of outside, but had been performed some prominent role, some prominent performance, some prominent work against of British while they were losing their territories in the hand of British. They were against of British, and they performed some actions which are also memorable in our history. Today we are going to discuss. And if we see in some tribal societies who are isolated from other societies, lived in forests, and their own social setups are there. And if you see, they do not have castes. Okay, they in close-knit communities with their own. So they don't live in mainstream society. They lived in close-knit communities of them, and they with their own social setups. They do not have castes. There is no caste in tribal society. You have no tribes in the 19th century had a simple way of life which they led in the lap of nature. So they always lived in the lap of nature. That means in the hand of nature, in the support of nature. They always being lived in isolated area, forest and mountains. And if we see in our historical phenomena, they were had prominent rules and actions and works. So if we see about some rebellions, some tribal rebellions against colonialism, because they also were against of colonialism, and they started rebellions, they started oppose of them. And if we talk about in some rebellions, first we talk about Santhal rebellion, which is given on your page number 38, left side you see, and there are given two men who had arrows and bow in their hands. So that Santhal rebellion they belong from Jharkhand, which is now in which is now different state, different from Bihar, and is now deducted from Bihar, cutted from Bihar. You see, and in Jharkhand, Santhals were social tribal people, and they were in rebellion against of British because of Jamindari system and some policies of British. So, if we talk about how do tribal groups live, so and after that we talk about shifting cultivation or jhum cultivation. So, tribal people lived in lap of nature, in mountains, in forest, in isolation. And after that they did two types of cultivation, shifting cultivations or jhum cultivation, that form of agriculture. And what were that? We see tribes who lived in the hilly regions and forest, for example the Gonds, Bagas and Khons of central India. So if you see in central India, personally if you see some tribal societies were there, and if we see in them who lived in mountains and hilly regions, and they were Gonds, Bagas and Khons of central India, and you see, and Nagas, Khasis and Khariyas of northeast. So Nagas, Khasis and India, that means of northeast India, and those all were of northeast Indian social tribes. And if you see, so they North India and were mainly involved in shifting cultivation or jhum cultivation or slash and burn cultivation. They cultivated crops of their choice wherever they wanted to. So this shifting cultivation or jhum cultivation is the same word. And if you see what was that, so they cultivated crops of their choice wherever they wanted to. So wherever they wanted to in that old regime, forest or isolated area, they cultivated their own choice crops. And if they wanted to shift that field, so by that what was happened there, if you see jhum cultivation in word body, the type of cultivation where a plot of land is cultivated on a temporary basis and then abandoned to allow it to regain its fertility. If you see that all tribes cultivated on a field, and after completion of or after accomplishment of that field of cultivation, they abandoned that field or they closed that field for some time, that field would regain its fertility. You understand? That means if you cultivate a crop on a field for some time, after cultivation, after finish of that crops, if you abandon or if you stop that field or you break that cultivation, and if you took that field for some time, that fertility of that field will be increased. So this is jhum cultivation or shifted cultivation. So they shifted their fields here and there for good cultivation and good fertility, because they had more and more regime in their hands. And if we see what was the second thing of them, hunting and gathering, how they took their food. So most of the tribes such as Khons and from Odisha, Khons were from Odisha, Khons were from Odisha, Palyan and Naikas from the Western Ghats. If you see Western Ghats, this one is Western Ghats, this part of coastal area. So these two tribes, Palyan and Naikas, were from Western Ghats. And if you see, and Jarawas from Andaman and Nicobar, if you see Andaman and Nicobar Islands were there, and two tribes, Jarawas from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and were dependent on the forest for their survival. So this total Odisha and this South India and Western Ghats and some part of Andaman and Nicobar, these tribes were dependent on the forest for their survival. They were fully dependent on the forest. They were gathering foods and hunting, hunting and gathering. So they hunted for their food to animals and then gathered the meat and flesh of them for their survival. If you see, So what was hunting and gathering, students? Most of the tribes such as Khons from Orissa, Palyan and Naikas from Western Ghats and Jarawas from Andaman and Nicobar Islands were dependent on the forest for the survival. They preferred hunting in groups and used to gather forest produce such as fruits, roots, honey and medicinal herbs. So they hunted animals, but at the same time they also collected some medicinal herbs of the forest, some fruits and roots of plants and trees for their food, and honey, as you know, collected from honeybees. So these was all collections of food were there from them. And if we see medicinal herb in the word body of page number 40, that means herbs having medicinal contents. So medicinal content, which herbs having medicinal content, that means medicinal herbs. They also collected medicinal herbs of forest, there were none of them, and they also collected fruits, roots of plants and animals. They also collected some honey from honeybees from their forests, and they were hence known as hunter-gatherers who shared whatever they used to collect among the members of the whole tribal community. And those hunter-gatherers, they hunted something and gathered their fruits and flesh and all what they wanted, and then they divided the whole thing and eat with at the same time. So that means they were good in behavior with each other, and they always collect the food and among the members of whole tribal society they started to eat. And some of the tribal people also worked as agricultural laborers, and in them some tribal people were used to do agriculture. Some tribal people were used to do hunting and gathering, but some of them also were doing agriculture or cultivation. And if we see in the villages around the forests, they even help the weavers and leather manufacturers by collecting the products required for dyeing and sold these money or in exchange for goods. So what they did, firstly they hunted and gathered the food, then they ate on the same place with each other. Then some of them also were doing agriculture or cultivation on the nearby field of that forest, and some of them were also helped the weavers and leather manufacturers. So some of them also were weavers, makers of cloths and fabrics, and some of them also were leatherers who make leather products and collecting products required by dyeing and sold these for money or in exchange for goods. So some traders were also there in the team of them. Some of them doing work of leather and in selling or exchange of money. People of nearby them of their tribal area help them. And if you see in manufacturing and if you see in selling, and some weavers were also there, some leather workers also there, and they helped each other in doing business. And if you see herding and rearing, what was it? Most of the tribal people led a nomadic life. Some of them were pastoralists who moved from place to place with their animals. So before we start this topic, students, today we are going to conclude our left and past topic, that is hunting and gathering. So students, if you see in the past time, some tribal societies, like we talked about Santhal Indian. So this chapter belongs to the colonies and tribal societies, that means tribal societies which were lived in the time of British era, and those tribes which we have discussed of northern India or middle India, if we discussed about Western Ghats, some tribes of Andaman Nicobar Island, and those tribes were depend on hunting and gathering, and they collected their foods at the same place and had same company. So this was fundamental characteristics of tribes and their tribal peoples. Students, in this video we'll introduce this chapter. In next video we will further discuss next topic, herding and rearing, settled agriculture and so on. Till then students, in homework you have to write a small summary of hunting and gathering. And as you know, your exam is going to come, so in last chapters FA2 is going to come, so last chapters question will be in ask. So students, read for that, and if there is any queries you can ask on that number. Till then students, have a nice day. Thank you.